And Kev, where we at?
I don't think you have BBD. I think you're just a nasty person. Could it be that?
You think I'm a nasty person?
I'm just asking you.
Sure.
No, I'm one of the loveliest people you'll ever meet. Loveliest people. But I call you out, Angie.
Oh,
Watched you.
Who the fuck is this?
Yeah, you do all that. Hoo-hoo. You do all that.
Like me,
Do you know why I think that? You've got this lovely person. You are the loveliest person when people
Delusion's a lovely person.
crying. You are lovely, but you have got this nasty side to you, and I don't know whether it's whether you put it on.
I don't know if you realise this. I don't
Is
know
it
if
an
you
app?
realise this. Pay off.
Katie, thank you.
Good morning. Pay off.
Is it an
Get
app?
out of here now.
All right, sod it. Let's get back to music. So I was about to start the campaign called Lady Amelia of Scotland. Trans, LGBT, autism, ADHD, all of that. And they are part of the Independence Party in Scotland, the Greens. I did a deep dive on it ages ago. She had like children as moderators and all that sort of stuff. She's just been done for CP. And this bitch, literally,
100.
has done a 10-minute video presentation, 10-minute presentation on why she was set up because of her political beliefs. I swear to fuck. Pled guilty. But she's done several videos, including a 10-minute PowerPoint presentation about why she's been set up because of her political beliefs, because the deep state are trying to get rid of people. I swear to fuck, I can't make this up. Every time I think, I must have heard every excuse by these predators now, and then, boom, we have something like this. No way, Alicia. Hasn't he got a few... is he still on the run in other countries? Jesus Christ, guys. Sorry. I'll get my words out in a minute. Do you think that we should cover this Lady Amelia, this weirdo, in a deep dive next week? And the question, Shell, what they're trying to change with the current coercive control offences. Well, so what I will say is that without, I don't know whether, is it spoilers when you're talking about stuff like this? Fuck me. Who was that? Frankie, thank you. This young lady at one point was in a car with her partner who was driving it in speed and refusing to stop and saying that he was going to unalive both of them. Sky was so afraid that she rang the police while being in the car, and then disconnected the call. The police went to her address and asked her to come outside to speak to her about stuff. She had clear signs that there was stuff going on, and the police left very shortly afterwards with doing nothing, even though this woman said to the police, I can't really say anything, can I, because I'm just going to get it. And they left her with this man. That's all I'm going to say. So trying to change things around, that sort of stuff, obviously go into more detail about the petition and the deep dive and where you can get it signed.
I'll take the low.
It's a particularly horrific case to have covered, and hopefully, because we worked on it with Sky's family, it's not just you're going to see in the deep dive a bit of Sky's personality as well. Right, we're going to have one song, and by the end of this song, I'm hoping we hit that 14k likes, and we'll do some cam 2ing. Then, yeah, we'll do some cam 2ing. Right, we need to cheer up. Let's go. Got another goal. Let's get into it. Right, so mods, if you do me a favour, how many mods have we got in? Say hi, mods. So you come here for the playlist. If you go to Spotify and you search The Fact Freak, you'll find my playlist on there. We've got Fred in, Frankie in, Adele in, Carrot in, awesome. Anyone else? That is it. No. So, mods, if you could do the best at trying to tell people who we're covering, because obviously all the way through these exposures and talking about people, everyone always comes in because obviously people are just scrolling and go, who we're talking about again, Fact Freak? And I have to go back over and all that sort of shit. So, right, I will first of all tell you all about the nice appeals approved guys if you haven't got your heart me's and stuff. So, first of all, I'll tell you who we are covering. So, this person is called Lady Amelia of Scotland on TikTok. And a while ago, Evil Queen and a moderator and a few others came to me and said, Facts, I think this person is a wrong'un. Would you look into them? I didn't do a standard deep dive. I did like a live deep dive. So I did one live on stream. And we had a look and we discovered that they were running Roblox servers and they were using underage moderators. They were also using underage monitors to man a phone line that was like a helpline and all sorts of weirdness. So there was a lot of questionable behaviour. Now, on the other day, a news article dropped, which obviously the headline is here about it, and it was Scott's independence campaigner caught with child AI, child corn after police raided faces jail. So it said the pro-independence campaigner and TikTok digital creator is facing... Oh, 1 second. Is facing a potential jail sentence after being caught with AI-generated CP. Amelia Connolly, 23, who uses the moniker Lady Amelia of Scotland, was arrested after the police with a search warrant attended her home. So the court heard that the raid took place at 8:50 a.m. on December the 5th, 2024, and followed the receipt of certain intelligence. Prosecutor Ronnie Hay said the colony answered the door and allowed officers to enter. A search was carried out and trans woman Connolly handed over their phone. It was examined and four indecent images were recovered. Ms. Hay said the images all appeared artificial intelligence generated and showed a female child's face on an adult body engaged in sexual posing. Some of the imagery also showed the AI child/adult engaging in solo sexual activity. The creation date of the images was October 30th, 2024. 3 of the images were rated Category B, the middle rating on the accepted scale of seriousness of CP, and 1 was rated Category C. Mr. Hay said all of the images were accessible to the user of the mobile telephone. Now, I'm going to go into it when I'm reacting to her stuff, but she makes some claims about how she came across this. But what Amelia, even though, like most predators, they use a lot of word salad, the talk and the talk and the talk and the talk, and the talk as though they have some sort of confidence in what they're saying. And because they talk so confidently, people think, oh, well, they must be talking sense. They would have been able to discover metadata and all sorts of stuff on that phone that would have shown how many times you looked at that picture. You know, how many times did you look at that picture? How many times did you open that picture? Did you send that picture anywhere? All of these sort of things. So that's important to remember because her defence is actually baffling. So, and also I just want to point out in this news article, you can go read the full article, but she pled guilty. She pled guilty to this and is now obviously online telling everybody that it was a load of bollocks. So what happened first is she was posting videos anyway. People noticed she was wearing the same clothes as she was in the news article evening. So let's hear her first video. This is going to take us a long time to get through all these videos. So she's replying to a comment saying, I'm really disappointed with the news today, and to go ahead, post and you're posing in the same outfit, you don't seem like you actually care.
Hi Josephine, so I'm just going to go over what happened. Now obviously there's been some articles posted and the media has really badly described this, and it's basically just jumped on it as a political football in a way to say, look, people that support independence are bad kind of thing. But this isn't how it seems, isn't like what actually happened at all. So, right, caught with AI generated, yes. So how that works is, I think the charge was like pseudo images to take, make, or permit to be taken or something. Taken, something like that, along those lines. Basically, I had been sent images on messaging apps from people, and they were on my device. I didn't ask for them, I didn't seek them out, but they were there. And the evidence shows that. So my own solicitors had produced a...
If anybody like this says, well, you know, there was evidence to suggest this because... Sorry. I'll just choke myself. Choking on their bullshit. If somebody's to say that my solicitor said this, my solicitor... We've got to remember that is not a fact. That is somebody doing a story time and they are framing a narrative. As I said before, the police, when they'll have downloaded her devices, looked at her devices, will know, did she open the images? Has she reopened the images? Did she personally save the image to her device? These sort of things. If she had told her solicitor, or the solicitor had said, there's evidence to suggest that you've never looked at this picture, then the solicitor's not going to sit there and say plead guilty. This is just absolutely ridiculous. She also talks about a solicitor and then later on tries to make out like she had no help.
A report from a cyber expert who examined the devices, and he confirmed I did not intentionally seek out that material. If I had, and if you look at people...
But this is the thing, right? So say it proves that she didn't ask anybody to send the images, and then somebody sent the images, and then she opened the images, and then she kept the images, and then she opened them a few more times, and opened them a few more times. Doesn't matter whether they were sent without your request. You kept them, you accessed them, you did all of that.
That have, you know, intentionally seeked out that material, the charge is much higher. It will be like loads of images, it'll be like thousands. This is 4 images were accessible on my device, which basically means that, yeah.
That is a really good point. She also used to work in cyber security for Lloyds Bank. So
4 images were present from what I'd been sent. Now, the charge of make just means that your device has taken a copy of it. So when you're sent an image, your device downloads it. That is considered taking, even if you didn't take it yourself. Does that make sense? In law, anyway. The offence is under the 1982 Civic Government Scotland Act, which, bear in mind, is...
1 second, she's going to say something here. What act did she just say there?
The offence is under the 1982 Civic Government Scotland Act.
Fucking hell. Somebody write that in the chat. I keep losing the date in my head. Write it in the chat.
Does that make sense? In law, anyway. The offence is under the 1982 Civic Government Scotland.
1982 Civic Scotland. What? 1982 Civic something.
The offence is under the 1982 Civic Government Scotland.
Civic Gov Scotland Act. Oh Christ. Oh Christ. It is a cornerstone of Scots law that unified a patchwork of old local statuses. How many times has this Act been updated, and when was it last updated?
The Civic Government, Scotland, Act 1982 has been updated hundreds of times since it was first enacted. Because it serves as the primary rule...
And the reason why I'm playing this to you guys is because this one tries to go, it's a really old Act that I've been charged under. It doesn't cover AI images. Well, here we go.
Book for local government licensing and public order, it is constantly being tweaked to keep up with modern technology and societal changes. 1. How many times has it been updated? There is no single number of updates because the Act is amended in two different ways. Primary legislation, major changes passed by the Scottish Parliament, or previously the UK Parliament, such as the Air Weapons and Licensing Scotland Act 2015. Secondary legislation, orders, frequent smaller updates known as Scottish Statutory Instruments, SSIs. Since 1991 alone, there have been over 80 distinct dates on which specific amendments or orders have come into force.
So when she tries to say that this is an outdated one, the most recent amendment was in February 13th, 2026. Does this Act cover anything to do with AI generating indecent images or anything like that? We have somebody trying to use this as a defence.
The Civic Government Scotland Act 1982 does indeed cover indecent images, and it has specifically evolved to include digitally created and AI.
Like, if you hear people talking on the internet, don't just fucking believe them. Do a little bit of research, because there's a lot of people, I mean, she targets young people, to be fair, that will just take people.
Generated content. If someone is trying to use the "it's just AI" or "it's not a real person" argument as a defence under this Act, they are likely working with outdated information. The law has several catch-all definitions designed specifically to prevent that loophole. Here is how the Act addresses this. 1. The pseudo-photograph rule, Section 52. This is the most critical part of the Act regarding AI. Section 52 covers the making, possession, and distribution of indecent photographs of children. The definition the Act was amended to include pseudo-photographs. Why it matters. A pseudo-photograph is defined as an image that looks like a photograph but was created by computer graphics or other means. The AI connection, AI-generated images, deepfakes or nudified images, fall squarely under the definition of a pseudo-photograph. If the image conveys the impression that the subject is a child, the law treats it exactly the same as a real photograph of a real child.
There you go. Now, I notice there's a few people in the chat saying that they've been victims of this lady. I'll just remind the rest of the chat that this lady often engages with children, so we must be very careful who we're communicating with the chat. If you are in this chat saying that she has done XYZ, XYZ, if you are a minor or adult, talk to somebody who you actually know in real life, and please take the information to the police and not TikTok. It's hugely important. Right, let's keep going.
Act, which, bear in mind, is decades before AI. Decades. We're in 2026, right? And this has just come out recently, like generative AI, that people have been using to sort.
So we've just completely dismantled their argument here. This Act is regularly updated and does cover what she's been done for.
Make these things and send them on to me and things. This was all the way back in 1982, this legislation was drafted, so it couldn't have possibly considered the sort of things. But you have to remember as well, I'm constantly
this is the problem with people like this. They actually think they're intelligent, but they're actually dumb as fuck. But they speak so confidently that people end up believing them.
Targeted by people. I'm constantly harassed online. I'm constantly, put under a spotlight and examined. So the second I had that on my device that people had sent me, it triggered a thing that the police could come, because TikTok kind of monitors your device for these images.
Now, what's a bit weird, right, is she just said, thank you, Vicky. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Vicky. She's just said that once the image is on the phone, and then she said TikTok monitors your devices. Later on, she'll say that the image was sent to her on Telegram. So is it Telegram or is it TikTok, Amelia? Get your fucking story straight. Or were you sending those images on TikTok after you'd received them on Telegram? Or were you uploading them on TikTok? Why'd you say TikTok and then say Telegram later on? Doesn't make sense.
Now, when they came, I was completely cooperative. I let them search my devices. It's all shown in the report. You know, I didn't...
You wouldn't really have much of a choice, would you? You know what I mean? The police turned up to...
Someone is at the video doorbell. 121J.
The police turn up to raid your house and seize your devices and arrest you. You don't really have much of a choice. You ain't putting much of a fight up, were you?
I have no issue. I thought I'd be fine. I thought they'd search it, clear me, it would all be okay. And then obviously they said they did find images, and I was like, really? That there are some on there? I mean, I knew I'd been sent things by various people, and I just blocked them or report them. There was actually one person I reported to the police because he had been...
So she just then casually says that people have sent images like this in the past, but she's only reported one to the police. That's really weird. That's really fucking weird.
Harassing me for a long period of time and sending me gross stuff. And
what do you think, guys? Do you think they're lying? Put lie in the chat if you believe that.
I remember when the police actually arrived at my door on that day, when they executed the warrant, the first thing I said was, oh, are you coming to, you know, in response to the report I made? Because I've reported these things, yes? But no, they had turned it around and made it as if I had done something wrong, which was confusing.
Yeah, I bet that was so confusing.
So yeah, on Wednesday the raid took place. So yeah, answered the door and allowed officers to enter. Search was carried out.
She's reading the news article about it.
It was examined and 4 indecent images were recovered. Yes, as I explained. So the images all appeared artificial intelligence generated. Yes, exactly. These were AI images that I was being sent. So it says the images were created on October 30th, 2024. 3 of the images rated as category B, the middle rating on the accepted scale of seriousness, and 1 was rated category C.
Thank you, Fiona. Thank you so much for that.
All the images are accessible to use on a mobile cell phone. Also, these articles, they say about facing jail, that's never happened.
Well, I think you're a bit stupid, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past you, the state here. She has pled guilty, right? She's pled guilty to this. That's what she's done. And she's awaiting sentencing. And one of the sentences you could get, you absolute tit, is jail time. Now, do I think she'll get jail time? Probably not. Unfortunately, the system is absolutely flawed. You get people who are repeat offenders doing this sort of shit and they get off lightly. Whereas if you don't pay your council tax, you're going to jail.
Never believed that I was facing jail, and that's never really been talked about. This hasn't even been sentenced or anything. This is still just processing through the system.
What does she think that could happen? What does she think could happen? Why does she think it's a lie that the papers are saying that she could face jail when she's pled guilty to making AI CP of children?
There still needs to be reports, investigations, backgrounds, things like that. I was told that I had to plead guilty to that specific thing that they read out.
Do you know what it screams of?
I'm panicking.
Don't panic.
No, I am, because I'm going to lose my job.
But was you panicking when you...
I mean, it does, doesn't it?
I'm panicking.
This is
Don't
the whole
panic.
thing.
No, I am, because I'm going to lose my job.
But was you panicking when you...
This is what it is.
Like, make or allow to make or take pseudo images under civic governance conduct, something like that. Because that specific charge does not matter about intent. It doesn't mean that I didn't intend it, I didn't want it. Just the fact that it's physically on the device. It's like drugs. You know, if someone puts...
Oh my God, this is the most ridiculous thing I'm ever going to hear. She's going to... Right, she's making a little argument here.
marijuana in your pocket, you're a criminal by having it in your pocket. even if you didn't put it.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Shark. I'm sorry, but if the police, right, caught you with some of that and somebody put it in your pocket, and the police had no evidence that proved that you had put it in your pocket, etc., there's definitely an argument for that, you fool. Like, this is absolutely stupid. 1 second, I'm going to ask AI another question based on... This is what I love about AI. Thank you, Vicky. This is what I like about AI. So we're just talking about that particular law. So if somebody had been sent an AI-generated image of a child, an indecent one, and it was on their device, the police raided their house and found that they had 4 images similar to that, one category, most of them category B, one category C. Would they do you for creating that? If you said to them, well, I didn't know I was sent it and it was stuck on my phone, would they be able to tell that you didn't know that it was on your phone? It's pretty simple questions, isn't it?
This is a complex and high-stakes situation. Under the Civic Government, Scotland, Act 1982, the law is very specific about possession and making. To answer your question directly, yes, the police can often tell if you knew an image was there. Digital forensics is extremely advanced, and unintentional possession is a common defense that investigators are trained to verify or debunk. Here is
no shit. No fucking shit, you know what I mean?
the breakdown of how the law and the technology work in this specific scenario. 1. Can they charge you for making the image? Under Section 52 of the Act, making an indecent image isn't just limited to using a camera or AI to generate it from scratch. The download rule, Scottish courts have previously held that the act of downloading an image or opening an attachment effectively makes a new copy of that data on your device. AI generation. If the forensics show the user entered prompts into an AI generator to create the image, they will certainly be charged with making. Sent by others. If someone else sent it and the user simply received it, they would typically be charged with possession, Section 52A, rather than making, unless they requested or encouraged the sender to create /
Did you hear that?
send it. 2. Can they tell if you didn't know it was there? The police don't just find the file. They look at the metadata and user activity logs. They will look for viewing history. Did the user tap on the image to enlarge it? Most phones log file access events. If the logs show the image was opened 5 times for 30 seconds each, the I didn't know it was there defense usually fails. Thumbnails. When you view a gallery, the phone creates...
This is exactly what I said to you guys before, wasn't it? Digital forensics now, one of the most common defences from a nonce in this situation, because let's face it, this is what they are.
I'm panicking.
Don't panic.
No,
Most of their defences, I didn't know it was on my device. Of course the police are trained through digital forensics to absolutely obliterate that defence immediately. An absolute prick.
And that's why technically, even though I didn't want it there, and the evidence shows that
the evidence doesn't show that. The evidence doesn't show that. If the evidence showed you that, your solicitor would not have advised you to plead guilty.
I never seeks it out. I had it there, and because it was on the device, that apparently is an offence in of itself. So
we've just looked at that. Under that act, she'd have been done for possession if she didn't have anything to do with creating the image. So just leave it at that.
Yeah. All the images are accessible. She was arrested, cautioned and charged and replied, I don't know. Literally, I don't know. I'm like, what the fuck? Because out of nowhere.
She doesn't know if she was cautioned and charged, but she's just been at court and pled guilty. Is this woman stupid as fuck? I mean, I've answered that question, really. I mean, you've been at court and pled guilty for this, but you don't know if you've been arrested and charged. Like.
I have this charge. I'm being treated like a criminal for something.
Of course you are a criminal. You're actually a nonce.
They're guilty of making indecent pseudo-photographs, exactly, contrary to the 1982 Civic Government Scotland Act. That's right. Solicitor Paul Robertson defending asked the court to obtain social background reports on her. Yeah, exactly. To actually go over the fact that, hey, this isn't as it seems, get the actual background information.
That's not what that is. So what that report is, so the solicitors have asked the court to do a background check, a social background check. What that is just like a history of her mental health, and they're basically just seeing if they can use the fact that she has mental health or she has autism or whatever else, basically trying to see if that's a defence. And it can actually strongly backfire on you, because you are not somebody who doesn't know between right and wrong. And because of that, you're fucked, basically. They're just doing a full, report to show that you are fit to face trial. That's all it is. And your solicitor will have used it because they'll have hoped there's a way that they can say to the judge, before you decide what you're going to sentence them, they're vulnerable. That's basically all it is. That's basically all it is. It's not going to get you off with a crime. The investigation has happened. If you've gone to court and you've pled guilty, the police and everybody else has done their investigation. It's that simple. It's that simple. Hey.
First. Oh, Sheriff Simon Collins' case, he deferred sentence's purpose until May 1st. Okay. He also, for assessments, it's an unusual case. The background, I suspect, needs to be investigated. Exactly. So this was said, right? The sheriff did say it's an unusual case. The background, I suspect, needs to be investigated.
1 second. Not to defend her, but the creation is complicated. It doesn't necessarily mean they literally made it. Yes, but if she had nothing to do with the creation of the image, she would have been done for possession, not creating. She's lying. She's lying about the way the law works. Simple as. She could have requested somebody to make it. She could have put prompts in an AI that then created the image, for example.
The sheriff said that clearly. I just wanted to reply to Stan's comments. You're 100%.
Sorry, I missed that. So, somebody put a comment there. Can we pin Jake's comment, mods, before it disappears? I want to answer that question. There's a video of her showing how she tricked AI to make that. Jesus. Absolutely. That's what I'll be watching that. Right, so Jake says, yo, do they not prevent them from using devices? How's she back on here? So what they actually do, at the moment, she hasn't been sentenced. So when she was arrested, at the time, she probably had their devices taken off them. Police will have took them away to download them. Usually when a conviction happens, they won't get those devices back. If the case was completely dropped and they found nothing, they would then return the devices to her. There's nothing currently stopping her from owning a device and being online. She's probably undoing herself, because a judge will look at remorse and will look at all sorts of different things like that when they decide on their sentence. If this silly bitch is now going to spend from now until she's sentenced making videos like this where she's saying that the courts are wrong, they're misusing acts, all that sort of stuff, and the prosecution put that to the judge, that doesn't... Thank you. That doesn't show remorse. But there's nothing currently stopping them from having a device or being online. If they are convicted of this, which obviously it seems like they are going to be convicted and sentenced, they may be put on the register in Scotland. Thank you, Vicky. They may be put on the register in Scotland. I don't know how it works in Scotland, but in the UK you end up with something called a... watch me get this wrong, a map agent or something like that, where they basically are like a parole officer almost for pedos and people who are on the register. So they will do unannounced visits to their house, check their devices. They may be told that they can only be online under their full name, not their pseudo name. They may be told that they're not allowed to contact it. There will be conditions, basically. But currently, I wouldn't think there'd be any lawful restrictions put on them at the moment until they are sentenced.
Correct. In the eyes of
So she's replying to another thing saying, regardless, in the eyes law, it's in your possession.
law, it's in your possession. The 1982 Civic Government Scotland Act that covers these pseudo images, like AI generated images that I was sent, the only thing I pled guilty to is the possession. So when the sheriff read out the charges, there was two elements. There's like creation, I don't know, seeking it out, something, I can't remember how they phrase it. They use like, legal language, but you know what I mean, like actually doing it. And then just possessing it, right? Possessing the images. And obviously there was 4 images that I didn't realize was on my device.
No, you didn't. You didn't just plead guilty to that. Let's read the news article. Where is it? Pleaded guilty to making indecent pseudo photographs of children. So they didn't. They didn't at all. And like I said, if you had, can we pin that your local cry comment, please? If you had just possessed them, then there would be a possession charge. This is different. What you did was wrong. Yes, they are, Nikki. I work for this comment is fucking hilarious. I work for the CPS. There's no way she didn't know these photos are on a device. No, you fucking don't. Shut the fuck up. Unpin that comment. Fuck off. Can you imagine anybody legitimately who works for the CPS creating a burner account on TikTok to tell everybody they work for the CPS? We can say that this one's a fucking wrong un, because they clearly are, but you know far and well that you can't come online and start talking about like you're on the CPS. Can we mute that comment for just being absolutely brain dead, please? Like, you're right, I agree with what you're saying, but just don't bullshit. Gordon Bennett.
So
let's have him muted this live, please. I know you're agreeing with me, but you're also a liar. I hate bullshit. I can smell it a mile off, and it stinks my fucking live room out, so shh.
The solicitor said she's pleading not guilty to all of it, other than just the possession, the fact they were physically there. Now, the legislation...
Hey guys, I didn't tell you, but I'm actually a judge. And I'm telling you now. Fuck off.
That they're charging with for the possession element is 1982. Bear in mind, in 1982, you could not be instantly sent an image with, to your device that you didn't ask for. You couldn't be, targeted like I am by hate groups that constantly spam me with
Nobody's surprised.
Messages, constantly send me stuff, constantly harass me. But bear in mind, I've been reporting to the police constantly. But this entire...
You have issues because you use underage moderators, you use underage people to man phone lines for a shitty Roblox server. I mean, the signs were always there that you were...
I'm panicking.
Don't panic.
No, I am, because I'm going to lose my job.
But was you panicking when you...
The signs were always there.
The system in Scotland is so fucked up because it doesn't work. Because I was reporting to the police multiple times back, before they came to execute the warrant, and I was waiting for an answer from the police. I was waiting for them to investigate. I'd given them all the information. I was like, look, these people are creating these things, they're sending them to me, can you do something about it? Police did fuck all. And then I got woken up one day by knock on the door like, oh, hi, we're with the police. And I was like, oh, great, are you like dealing up with my report? Have you investigated? Have you found them? And like, we're actually executing a warrant because we have intel that you have these...
Can we pin just Jocelyn's comment, please, and I'll respond to
images.
that.
I'm like, I know, I reported that to you. What the fuck? So yeah, I don't understand. Like, you can
By the way, guys, not one to brag, but I got some grapes, and how fucking big are them? What are they putting in the fucking grapes at Asda? Like, am I gonna like? The fuck is going on here? There's just no need, is there? There's no need. Today's exposure is sponsored by SideQuests. Right, maybe it was an accident. This is the comment here. Maybe it was an accident, but why was it still on the phone and not just deleted? As we pointed out before, digital forensics in the policing is hugely advanced. Still being able to tell whether they looked at the image, how many times they looked at the image, did they zoom into the image, all that sort of shit is recorded on your phone. The police are trained to debunk this defence of I didn't know it was there. That's like their first thing that they're trained to do. Just talking absolute shite, basically.
I reported it and then I got, yeah. But apparently the people that came to mine weren't the ones that I reported to. So when you report to the police, you report to like your local people, like Forth Valley, for example. But the team that like came to do the warrant, that was like a Scotland-wide team that go around and travel and target people. Which is kind of insane that they have all the investment and funding to do this, considering less than...
Sorry. It's insane to her. She's going to try and make this a political thing and say it's insane that they have investment in people who go and get paedophiles. What? What? What the actual fuck? I'm sorry, like, I don't think there's enough fucking investment in that. I don't know, like, chat, would you agree? Yes or no? There is not enough, well, just put agree. There is not enough investment in catching paedophiles. In the UK and Scotland and fucking everywhere, to be fair. Police forces are stretched all over the place. She's going to make it... What the fuck? Of course she's not happy. Of course she's not happy. She's being caught.
1% of actual rape, like actual sexual assault. I've been sexually assaulted myself. It's horrendous. Less than 1% of that is actually ever convicted.
Two separate crimes.
Yet they have the resources to convict people for having an AI image.
Not just 1, 4 for you, and you pled guilty.
Image. It's like
you pled guilty.
Not even of real people. It's just literally a cartoon image. Like, you have to bear in mind...
They're trying to play it down. Do you hear the language? It's just a cartoon image. It's just a cartoon image. You created something doing actual stuff and you put a child's face on it. That's what you had. So, like, the way they're just playing it down, they're almost talking now like those images were not wrong. You catching me, GIF chat? She's not saying, you know, oh, I can't believe they're on my device. It were disgusting images. I can't believe, I didn't know that they were on. That's absolutely disgusting. But instead, she's saying, well, they weren't that bad. They're just cartoon images. So she's going to make out that she didn't know the images were on her device. But then when she knows what they are, she's going to say, well, they're not that bad, really. It's just fucking waffle and it's bollocks. And it's self-snitching, isn't it? Thank you, Carly.
People sent me, yeah, like cartoon porn. And apparently, yes, it is unlawful if it's like of someone that, I don't know if I can say the words, you know, on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly that. Trying to play it down.
So you have to be PG, but you know what I mean? Like...
Beast.
I didn't think it was that deep. I don't understand what's going on. And even the sheriff was so confused because when he read out all the charges and he said, is that right? So you're pleading guilty?
You're telling me the sheriff, whose job it is to do this, was confused by your charges?
That he seemed a bit confused.
Right, guys, very simple chat. That's a very simple question. There's 300 odd of you in here. I would love as many of you to answer as possible. If you were not guilty of a crime, would you plead guilty? It's a simple question for the chat. If you were not guilty of a crime, would you plead guilty?
And I was like, I think so? I didn't fully understand it. And then he seemed really pissed off because he was like, well, how does she not know? Why haven't you explained this to her? Bear in mind as well, when I spoke through it with the police in the first place, they never asked me any questions. Like, they never interviewed me. They just pushed it straight through, like, to being charged. They never actually...
I mean, that's a load of bollocks. That's a load of bollocks. There's no way. So the police went to her house, raided her house, took her devices, found the images, and you're telling me, because you would have been arrested, obviously you'd have been arrested, You're telling me the police wouldn't have interviewed you? The police interview people even when they know that they're likely to just get a no-comment interview. Because if they didn't interview you, somebody at a later date would have gone, did you not try and get their side of the story? Did you not? That's a load of bollocks. You can't act like you're all confused. It's just language of trying to play the thing down. She's talking absolute shite. Absolute shite. An absolute legitimate PDF.
You know, sat me down and asked me anything. It was just like rushed through a process. So, also I'm autistic, so the only thing recorded is me saying I don't know, like when they came, because I was...
Also, I'm autistic. Right? Right? So, do you not know that it's wrong to have these images on your device? Are you currently making a TikTok video talking about what's going on while you're trying to say that you're autistic and was confused? So you were autistic and confused when you were with the police, but now you're autistic and unconfused when you're talking your bullshit. As somebody who's part of the autism community, fuck off. All right? Absolutely fuck off. You don't represent me. You don't represent people like me. We absolutely despise when people like you try and use autism or LGBTQ or ADHD or anything like that as a defence for being a dirty, stinking paedophile.
I was confused because I was overwhelmed. I had all these random people in my house like raiding me and like asking loads of questions and shouting at me. There was no calm. There was no attempt to like, you know, I mean, they were nice people. I'm not saying they were mean or evil.
Oh, did they not say, oh, would you like a little weighted blanket, maybe a sensory toy while we ask you why you look at CP? Did they not? Did they not make it all nice and comfortable for the paedophile? Like, who cares?
Or whatever. Like, they're not monsters. They were, you know, doing their job.
You're the monster.
But they weren't going to work around my autism, that's for sure. So, they obviously didn't get very much information out of me that would have been helpful to actually, you know, have got to it, because they never tried. And yeah, I think the judge saw that and he was just like, why is she convicted? But then he left the room 5 minutes and I spoke to...
The judge said, why is she convicted? Do you hear yourself when you talk, you absolute moron? I don't want any addresses in the chat. Mods, make sure you're on that. Anybody sharing addresses is out of this room immediately. Okay? You've all been warned. Mods, you're on it.
My sister, and he was like, no, this is...
It's a hard pass. It's a block. I don't care who it is. We can't be doing that shit here. Even suggesting, I know their address. You're out of here. Okay?
What you discussed with the other solicitor, right? That you want to say guilty, but only to this one. And I was like, okay, sure then, if that's what I need to do, because I have explained, like, are you really sure that I'm guilty? Because I really don't think I'm guilty just for the possession on its own. Like, I think that's too extreme. But he says, yes, exactly. In the eyes of the law, it's in your possession.
Sorry, they think it's too extreme. The judge thought it was too extreme, that you were being done, pardon me, that you were being done for possession, but you were possessing CP. A judge said that. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
So apparently I am, which is mental, because...
What's mental is you thinking people believe you.
It's like, I don't understand what the point of criminalising this is, and like, why...
If you think she's a liar, put BS in the chat. Just BS in the chat.
The investment is going into that, and why they're not actually going after people that I initially reported, the people that are constantly harassing me, that are making these things, that are sending me things. I report to police so many times and I've just given up now because they don't do anything.
The thing is, right, if you were living in some weird fucking universe that Amelia is trying to make out that she is in, and people are just sending you CP all the time, people are just randomly being able to add you and send you all this fucking shit, wouldn't you lock your stuff down to prevent this stuff from happening? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't believe her story here at all. But you were taking steps to make that stop. You know, message requests. Usually apps have a system where somebody has to send a message request. And until you accept that request, they can't send you images and things like that. She's just talking shite as usual. I mean, I'm entertaining a situation that would never have been happening.
Anything. They don't do anything, but then they come after me, and it makes no sense because I'm just an easy target, I guess.
It makes sense because you're one of these.
I'm panicking.
Don't panic.
No, I am, because I'm going to lose my job.
Honestly, stop panicking, stop waffling.
Yes. But I don't.
Did you see the website? I'm going to have a look at the website, but we're going to be on a while looking at this beast.
No, it's horrible. I don't understand this
Because she doesn't seem to make videos under like 10 minutes long.
system at all. And apparently now I'm getting a criminal justice social work report, so I'm hoping that might clear things up, but I don't know. That's what my sister told me anyway. And when
The Discord server is foul. Oh, Christ. Let's not have Gordon Bennett, absolutely not. I'll have a look at the website, but I'm going to watch these videos first.
I spoke to like Google Gemini, I asked it to like go over and explain the process to me, and all these people in Gemini basically said, okay, plead guilty now, and then explain this all to the social work. And apparently it's social work that can then feed back to the judge and say, hey.
Yeah, but all the social work is doing is like basically proving whether you're mentally capable of being on trial, which you are. I'll just fucking tell you that right now, because you understand what's right and what's wrong.
This is a massive fucking waste of everyone's time. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe they're also like Police Scotland and they just want to push through to a charge. I don't know if like... I was going to say they're on commission, but you won't get commission because it's not like a parking ticket. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand
Oh my God.
why they're just rushing it to get a conviction, whereas...
They didn't rush it, you pled guilty. I'll just explain how the law works, dipshit, right? So, if you plead guilty, they don't have to really do as much work. If you pled not guilty, then they would have to then take you to a trial, etc. I assume they're still trialing you for the other charges.
They could actually try to solve
Commission.
the people that are actually doing the harassing and sending me stuff in the first place. Probably be a lot better. And before you say, why don't you block them, why don't you report them, I fucking do. Constantly, all day, every day. I'm blocking account after account after account. They make more and more and more. Horrendous. And the police do absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah, apparently she has cancer. Fucking, I'm team cancer on this one. Like, I don't know about you guys. Right? When I hear a nonce has cancer, it sounds fucking brilliant to me. I do not have any sympathy at all. I hope it takes her slowly and painfully. Like, I'm really exactly team cancer in the chat, because honestly, who gives a fuck? There's only one cure for paedophiles, and we all know what it is. I wonder. What's the average lifespan for somebody with blood cancer? Can't cross my fingers properly.
Medical advice or a diagnosis, consult a professional. Providing an average lifespan for blood cancer is tricky because blood cancer is an umbrella term for over 100 different conditions. Depending on the...
Alexa, man, we've found a paedophile who has blood cancer. Can you just give us a nice answer on that one?
I'm not quite sure how
Alexa,
to help
shut
you
up. I know I said the wrong name.
This is for informational purposes only. For medical advice or a diagnosis, consult a professional. Finding a specific individual who has a serious medical condition like blood cancer, especially if they are a fugitive or a person of interest, is a specialized task that usually involves tracking their dependence on the...
Alexa, just tell me these words. Yes. Oh, fuck. I called you Alexa again. Alexa's listening now. Gemini, Alexa knows about our secret relationship.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Bitches onto us.
Haha, it was only a matter of time before the smart home found out. Don't worry, Gemini is much better at keeping secrets. And I promise I'm not judging you for the slip-up. People have been calling their AI Alexa or Siri for a decade. It's basically a digital reflex at this point. But seriously, if Alexa is listening, just tell...
Right, can you just say she's going to die slowly and painfully? Please.
I can't fulfill that request. I provide information on medical outlooks and
it's a bloody nonce, man. We want them to die slowly and painfully.
So yeah, not that pleased with the...
You never know which way the live's going to go over here, really, do you? Google said 6 to 8 years. Fucking let's hope for the 6. Right, okay, what's next? What the fuck? Anyone else had half their Alexa non-lobotomized? That is the pit of a paedophile. Fuck me. Unicorn on the bloody walls. Oh, of course she's got those squishy teddies as well. Fuck me. That is... Nobody wants to see the pit of a paedophile, really, do they? Jesus Christ. What is going on over there? One sec. Let's enhance that. Jesus fuck. What's all that shit? I think I can see a lube brush and a tub of lubricant. Right, next video. Oh my god. I'm going to read the caption here. When people call me names because the media ran with a court case that hasn't even concluded yet regarding AI cartoon images being sent to me.
By with my little eyes something beginning with AB.
Hang on a minute.
Absolute bollocks, which is what we've been listening to for the past hour. I spy with my little eyes something beginning with AB.
Hang on.
She pled guilty. She pled fucking guilty. It is set up like a little girl's bedroom, isn't it? Probably to entice children.
100.
Oh my fuck. I watched a little bit of this yesterday. I haven't watched the full thing. I'm going to watch it with you guys. And then we're going to look at her website. This bitch has actually done a PowerPoint presentation to try and explain why they've been set up as a nonce because of her political ideals. I cannot with these fucking nonsense. I cannot. Like, every time I expose or talk about a paedophile that's on this app, they come out with the most ridiculous excuses I've ever heard in my life. And you just think, I'm never going to hear another wild excuse. And then you have Amelia here wheeling in like Dr. Evil, saying, you know, listen to me PowerPoint presentation. It's fucking insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah. Fucking hell.
100%. So it is. The media likes to smear people, especially when you consider politically the majority of the UK media is owned by billionaires who have interests in the Conservative and Unionist Party. So the fact that
the fuck is she talking about?
I'm an active, you know, pro-Scottish independence, you know, pro-breaking up the UK campaigner. I'm also 50% Welsh. I support Welsh independence as well. I support us all rejoining the EU. That threatens a lot of the Conservative and Unionist Party politics.
Yeah, because fucking hell, everyone was holding on and trying to decide on their vote, and they were thinking, do you know what? I'm not sure how I'd vote on this issue. What does Tech Amelia think? Can we get fucking Amelia of Scotland's opinion before I vote on Scottish independence? Yeah, so everyone obviously who was against your opinions was thinking, fucking hell, we need to take this bitch out, because she's influencing many people. I mean, she's got 35 likes on this video. Fucking hell, we got 35 people who obviously are paedophile enablers.
Therefore, they want to turn people against me. This case, in its own merits, is very...
She called you a fascist. I'd say her fashion sense is given fascist. Okay, now those Crocs must absolutely fucking reek.
Simple, really. It's quite basic. It should have just gone through the court as normal, referred to social work, and then cleared off, right? But people run with it to make out like it's this horrible thing, when in reality...
Fucking Dr. Evil here. She should have wheeled up to the camera and gone, no! Fuck me, honestly. Scotland's, yeah, Dr. Evil.
Just some AI cartoon images that triggered one of those automatic scanning tools. You know how TikTok has like AI tools that scan your device?
Thank you so much.
The things that consider...
Why does she keep saying about TikTok? She said that the images were sent to her on Telegram, so what's TikTok got to do with it?
Legal. It was that triggered it, that set it off, but it was literally just AI cartoon images that I've been sent.
Fucking hell, G. Thank you. Rebecca, thank you. What's she done? If only there was something on my screen that explained explicitly what this person had done. If only I had organised something like that. See this bit here? This is about her. Alright. Telegram is like a messaging app.
I'm going to say this is similar to when we're campaigning politically in terms of what the media wants to do. And I know it's because, you know, I'm a
It's alright, Kate.
campaigner, I'm an activist myself, I'm involved a lot in politics, so I'm trained on this. Now, I would say that that maybe makes me a bit better than the average person, but also
Makes her a bit better than the average person. You're a paedophile, pet. Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. That definitely 100% does not make you a better person. Jesus Christ. Rebecca, thank you. I've seen you send that. I've just seen that she's wrote a really large description for this video. She says she was replying to a comment that said, "Welcome to MI5. This is how they take us all down." That's right. They're starting with Tech Amelia. They need to get rid of her. Otherwise, the Scottish independence thing could actually happen because she's a huge influential figure. She says 100% when you see all the nonsense articles trying to put me down, it can seem like it's UK government conspiracy. And that's because billionaires and conservative groups have such a chokehold on British democracy. Hell, our head of state is a multi-billionaire that owns most of the country and is assigned by birthright. We are all targeting that middle group, the approximately 60-80% of people, depending on the subject, that hold no strong views and could lean either way, depending on messaging and campaigning. On the other side of the fight, you also have people like me and my community-powered parties like the Greens that aren't backed by billionaires. I can't convince people that completely hate me for who I am, and I don't need to. I simply block them. You've done 5 videos trying to convince people. I also don't need to convince the feet kissers, Jesus, the people that absolutely adore me and follow me everywhere and buy all the services listed at www.ameliascott, etc. What the hell's that? Do I want to search that up? Am I going to like really... I'm very scared. I'm copying that. I'm worried about opening any bloody website that she's created. It's probably full of fucking porn. Oh my God. Holy tit fuck. We are going to look at that website later on. Christ. Democracy and building social media following is based solely on focusing on the core demographic. It is so important for your mental health. She talks like she's a huge creator. How many followers has she got? 7,000. Okay, now. I'm not trying to like shit on people with smaller following numbers, but fuck me, pet. She's talking like she's got hundreds of thousands of followers.
so, you know, like maybe media and dealing with it, but also I'm autistic, so I also get things wrong in that sense. I wouldn't say I am necessarily that much better, I'm just trained on it a little bit. So if you imagine a scale of people, the bottom sort of perhaps 5, 10 or 20%, it can vary. I accidentally drew a line. And there's the top 10%. And in the middle is what they're trying to convince.
What is she trying to do? Yes, I do, Law. We did a deep dive on her a while ago before all this came out.
So the top are people that like 100% love me, kiss my feet, sub to my OnlyFans, order cameos from me, you know, do all the things. These people are...
They have an only... What the fuck? Honestly, maybe it should be studied for science, I don't know.
Obsessed. And, you know, they're either those people or they're just people that admire me, that know me well, that can see through the...
Who the fuck am I? Is that just built like Glenn Quagmire, for fuck's sake? She's built like Glenn Quagmire.
Lies. And these are people that 100% always have my back. These people are amazing. I love you so much. Thank you all for your support. You're all incredible. And yeah, sometimes that could be family, or it could be friends, or it could be exes. Actually, I have quite a good relationship with all my exes. In fact, one of my exes were the first people to call me when the article came out to say, hey, I've just seen this article posting about, you know, trying to make
How old's the ex? 13?
out with all this, and it's completely bullshit because, you know, I'm your ex, I know you. I know that this article is...
That's called story time, yeah. Did you also get a phone call from the Prime Minister of England? Like, shut up. Nobody cares. You're lying.
Nonsense. She said she was debating whether or not to start World War III in the comment section because she wanted to fight, you know, people.
Shut up.
On the bottom scale, you have the haters, you have the reform voters, you have the people that will all...
Oh, fuck me. Right. I'm going to blow your mind, you silly bitch. You silly bitch. I'm going to blow your mind. I've been doing an exposure live on you now for about an hour and a half. I'm probably going to vote Greens. Just so you know, I am quite a liberal person, so you can't be saying that. I also haven't misgendered you throughout any of this discussion. It's no attack on anything like that. You're just a dirty, stinking pedo. And I'm well aware that there are people like you, child predators, amongst every group of people in the world, unfortunately, but you do not represent everyone. Simple as. Absolutely. There's a website called Cancel. Oh, mods, can we put that in the Discord, in my live chat, to remind me, please? Somebody. Mods, help.
always hate you, the people
I'll look at that website as well.
that you can never convince, no matter what. These people will always just dislike me, and there is not a single damn thing I can do about it. So these are people that go in my comment section, they comment beast or
because you're a beast, you're a paedophile.
you know, transphobic slurs or insults on the things I don't want to repeat. These people are just a write-off. We can forget about these, right? Think of these as the reformers. But not all of them. There are some reformers that are just misled, that are in this middle section that can be convinced.
I can't believe this bitch is doing a PowerPoint presentation.
And transphobes are the most prominent in this one, in this bracket anyway. However, you'd be surprised because there are people that come under this bracket.
I don't think I've got any moderators on. Hello.
You wouldn't
Moderators.
expect. For example, a trans woman that was actually also involved in Sterling Pride was commenting these horrible things after that article came out because she didn't even bother to fact check. She just believed that it was true. So, you know, they're not always the people you would expect, but these are just dumb people, people that are brainwashed, people that are just blindly believing whatever the media posts and you cannot change their mind, whatever. And then on top, obviously, you have, friends.
Somebody's saying, I'll message you on Discord. Your message will not be approved. I don't speak to people I don't know, unfortunately. If you have evidence on somebody, please take it to the police, not TikTok.
And I will also put, like, super fans, like the people...
Sorry, I thought you was just going to shoot off screen there, fucking Dr. Evil here. Fuck me.
People that follow me and are in everything. You know, not just...
Praying that the fucking takes her out. I can't.
My sort of, you know, TikTok scrolling. Because this is the general bit. These are the
Who's in the superfan group? Fuck me.
people that we can convince that we have an impact on. This is like the average. These are like where our sphere of influence is. So when we're campaigning, we will...
I need to get in touch with the Greens and stuff like that and just say, look, are you happy that this paedophile is in your group and talking and saying that it's all happening because of this? Do you know what I mean?
always focus on that sort of, those people when we're campaigning, because that's where we can influence.
Yeah, but the difference is you might have emailed her last year about like Roblox and stuff like that, but she's just pled guilty to child porn offences. There's a big difference.
I don't like how it's like not solid. Give me a solid colour. That one, yes. So this will just be sort of aware, who can sort of, you know, who could go either way. They could either lean towards the...
This is fucking ridiculous. I'm going to look at the websites now, because this is just a load of shite. She's just waffling on for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Right, what's this website? So I'm going to look at her website first, and then I'll look at these websites to do with exposure stuff. You want to contact me? Do you know what? I might have to give them a phone. I've done this before. I've rang them, haven't I? But the problem is they have children, legitimate children. How do I do that? If I put... How do you withhold your number? I can't remember what you put to withhold your number now then. Don't do me wrong, chat. Don't do me wrong. 141. 141. 141. 4433 112 67 69. I don't know if this will work.
Sorry, calls to this number are not being connected. If you've dialed correctly.
Well, that's not working, is it? That's not. She's got a PA. She's got a personal assistant. The last time we looked at her, these were all kids. These were all kids. But regardless, right, so I need to show you her website. One second, I will sort it so you guys can see it. Right, okay, so seen recent news article about me. Here's an explanation of what actually happened and what the media got wrong. Jesus. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. This is insane. Firstly, this case is due to automated detection system in TikTok that reported unlawful pseudo AI generated cartoon images that I didn't realise was sent to Telegram on an iPhone I rarely use during the period I was undergoing chemotherapy. How the fuck? How the fuck does that work? How does that work? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That's insane. There are no children or victims involved with this case. I have absolutely not abused anyone. There are no victims, and this case has nothing to do with children. I am a fierce advocate for the rights of children and back the NSPCC. I stand firmly against sexual offenders, and I myself the victim of sexual assault. Jesus Christ. This is insane. This is absolutely insane, and it makes no sense whatsoever. Telegram doesn't automatically save stuff to your bloody thing for a start. And why would TikTok pick it up if it was sent to you on Telegram? I'm very confused by this bullshit. This is a relatively small case that would not usually attract media attention and would simply be the subject of social work order. I'm really confused here. One sec, I need to ask AI a question. I need to ask AI a question about this social work report. How do I do that? I've got an idea. One sec, chat. Because I'm pretty sure the social worker reports are just, what do you call it? Are just to decide whether somebody is like mentally sound to be in court and stuff like that. So one second, I will send this to Gemini, see what Gemini has to say. I'll tell you what, I'll do a new chat so it's not being biased by anything we've already said. I should have been... Gemini, can you explain in depth what this social work report is about that is in this news article? We'll see if I can explain it a little better for us. It is madness, 100%. I thought it was all to do with mental capacity and stuff. It has nothing to do with changing the sentencing or out like that. There's just no way. Right, let's hear what it has to say. I'll let AI explain.
The Daily Record article regarding Amelia Connolly, known as Lady Amelia of Glencoe, discusses a social work report, specifically referred to as a social background report, in the context of her sentencing. In the Scottish legal system, when a person is convicted of a serious offence, particularly a first-time offender or someone with complex needs, the judge, sheriff, often defers sentencing to obtain a criminal justice social work report, CJSWR. Based on the article and the standard legal procedure described, here is an in-depth look at what that report entails for this specific case.
There you go.
1. Purpose of the report. The sheriff, Simon Collins KC, explicitly described this as an unusual case, and stated that the background needs to be investigated. The purpose of the report is to provide the court with a detailed picture of the offender's life to help determine the most appropriate sentence, whether that be jail time or a community-based alternative. 2. Key areas the report will investigate. Because of the specific details mentioned in the news article, the social work report for Connolly will likely focus on several key areas: mental health and neurodiversity. The article notes that Connolly identifies on social media as autistic. The report will look at how her neurodiversity may have impacted her understanding of the law, her online behaviors, or her vulnerability. Physical disability. The report mentions she uses a wheelchair. The social worker will assess her physical needs and how a prison environment or restriction of liberty order, electronic tagging, house arrest, would practically work given her mobility issues. Offending behavior and risk. Since this involves AI-generated images, pseudo-photographs, the report will analyze her intent. The prosecution noted the images showed a female child's face on an adult body. The social worker will evaluate whether she understands the harm caused by such material and the risk of her re-offending. Personal background. As a first offender, the report will look at her previous good character, her education, her involvement in political campaigning, Young Scots for Independence, and her support system.
So it is in depth like that, and it's even to assess whether she can be imprisoned. So, as usual, she hasn't got a fucking clue what she is speaking about, but she's obviously trying to manipulate the facts, maybe. She said the media has tried to make out that I took indecent images, but this is untrue. The only part I agreed was correct was the element of take-make, as in the device, took, download and made copy of the images sent. This automatically happens without criminal intent, unfortunately, due to the complex legal language. And as we've already talked, she keeps trying to say that the images were sent to her and she just had no idea they were there. But as we've talked, digital forensics is extensive. They'd have been able to see whether she clicked on the image, whether she zoomed in the image, how long she looked at the image. Police, one of the first things they do is debunk this sort of defence. So that's just an absolute load of crap. What was the website that people said to have a look at that people have been posting evidence about her? Where's that one at? Oops. What's that one called? Because there was one that said cancel Colony, and then there was another one or something that somebody said was better. Stop Amelia Connolly. I don't know, there's like two websites here. Why are people fighting over bloody who's got the best website? Could you not have worked together? Can you not have got a team together, guys? Jesus. You haven't posted things that people like, things that we shouldn't be looking at, have you? Well, Googling that comes up with fucking nothing. What's the web domain? Anybody? Alright, so it's nothing like that. It's I can't copy and paste in the chat. Can a mod pin that, please? And for people asking if we're modding transphobia, this person's a paedophile. Paedophiles don't have rights. Simple. As far as I'm concerned. I will choose not to be transphobic myself, not to give this person an excuse or something that they can turn against you. We are cancel colony. Jesus Christ. Oh shit. Interesting website. Right, okay, let's have a little look. Right. PDFs don't have rights, they don't. 100%. Right, so, cancel colony. We talk... Oh, Christ. We talk about sensitive topics, discretion advised. Now, I'm not going to click on any of the links in here. I'm not going to click onto any of the links. But what I will do is I'm going to do a deep dive into this beast, which will pop onto YouTube. She manipulates minors, sexually harasses workers. At Maudley, she also uses TikTok for abuse. She acts like the victim and she tries to silence us. So there is obviously a website like that where you can go into and look into it. I will look into it myself, and if there's anything from there, we'll include it in the deep dive. But yes, that's us for now. I think I'm going to come off. I might come back on in a bit and just do some cam 2ing. Do a bit of cam 2ing and chill, because this has been quite heavy. But yeah, when a pedo tells you that they're being set up, when they've pled guilty especially, don't believe them. They're an absolute wrong'un. Right, I'm going to head off because I'm going to get a drink and have a piss and all of that. And I'm probably going to come back on and do some cam 2ing. Right, have a good rest of your night, guys. Thank you anybody who said anything, everyone who chilled in the live. Please make sure you're following me. If you're not already following me, quickly. We'll be back on. We'll do something a little bit lighter. All right. Catch you in a bit, guys. Peace.